to try to compete and, have a great game. Obviously, there are runs, but, you know, this is a challenge. Like, we rely on our fans, and when they pick and choose who they want to cheer for and come in and, make it feel like a away game for us and a home game for the other team, it's easy going to run like that. Especially with playoffs coming up. Like, you want to come see Gamecocks? We have Gamecocks on our roster. The last game, we had MVP chants for one of our players. Don't get here and switch up because of one player. And yes, we do make mistakes, but it's easy to lose momentum when you have other people cheering against you. So that's hard to do. To try to
All right. So that right there was Rhyne Howard, star of the Atlanta Dream, and she is not just frustrated, she's drawing a line in the sand. Her team, in the middle of a major turnaround season, just lost a nail biter on their own home court to the Las Vegas Aces. And the most soul crushing part, as the Aces started to pull away, the arena in Atlanta filled with MVP chants for the other team's best player, Aja Wilson. So, look, this isn't just some awkward moment. This isn't just a few fans cheering for a legend. This is a crisis of loyalty, a slap in the face to a team fighting for respect, and then it exposes a massive problem in the WNBA that we have to talk about right now. So let's set the scene because you have to feel the weight of this. This wasn't some throwaway regular season game. This was a battle with real playoff implications, with the Atlanta Dream hosting the reigning champion Las Vegas Aces. And so the Dream are having a great season, a huge improvement that has them deep into the playoff hunt. And their home, the Gateway Center Arena, is supposed to be their fortress. But on this night, that fortress felt like it had been breached from the inside after a tight first half. The third quarter was where all started to slip away for Atlanta. And the Aces went on a brutal run that completely flipped the momentum of the game, and it was during this onslaught, and later as Aja Wilson was at the free throw line, the chants began, MVP, MVP, MVP. You know what I'm saying? But don't take my word for it. I want you guys to hear it for yourself, and I'm going to chant along and let that be known. So with no further ado, check it out.
Asia 4 for 6 from the free throw line tonight. She has 32 points, her 11th 30-point game of the season. And rolls that one in.
You guys heard it, right? Had to get lit for a minute. But it wasn't for Alicia Gray. If it wasn't for Alicia Gray, one of the Dream's own stars, it was for Aja Wilson. Like I said, the superstar in the visitor's jersey. So imagine you, Rhyne Howard, you're in a dogfight against a dynasty team. You're trying to stop the bleeding and you listen for your home crowd to give you a lift. And instead, what you hear is a full blown celebration for the person single handedly taking the game away from you. The psychological blow is just immense, and it sends a message, whether it's intentional or not, that your fight doesn't matter as much as the celebrity on the other side. And Howard said it perfectly. It makes it feel like an away game, and the energy in the building just dies. And Rhyne Howard, rightfully so, had enough, and she didn't hold back in the post-game pressure, and she put the blame squarely on the fans who switched sides when things got tough, right? And I'm going to be very objective in everything here. And shout out to Aja Wilson, because in this year, the 2025 season, the most 30-point games in a single season, and Aja Wilson has 11. And she had it last year in the 2024 season. She had 11 30-point games and now she's basically, as we know, she surpassed Joy Lloyd and Maya Moore because she did it twice. So shout out to her. But now, to be fair, we got to talk about who Aja Wilson is. This isn't just some random all-star. Aja Wilson is a phenomenon, a two-time MVP, a two-time champion, and a player who's making a serious push for an historic third MVP award. Against the Dream, she put on a masterful, dominant performance that showed exactly why she's one of the faces of the league. And the Aces have been on a serious winning streak, and it's largely on the back of Wilson's incredible play. But these chants in Atlanta, it goes deeper than just this one game, because this is about regional royalty. Because Aja Wilson played her college ball at South Carolina just a few hours away. a few hours drive from Atlanta, and she's a straight up legend. They're a foundational piece of the Gamecocks dynasty. So for a lot of people in the arena, their loyalty to Gamecock Aja came way before their loyalty to the Atlanta Dream. And they see her as one of their own, and they want to show her love. And that Georgia South Carolina border gets real blurry when a player of her status comes to town. So this creates an incredibly tough spot for the Dream, and it's a problem a lot of WNBA teams face because star players have national fan bases now. So when those stars come to town, they bring fans with them, and sometimes those visiting fans are louder than the home crowd. And it's a great sign for the league's growing star power, but it's a nightmare for a team trying to build a true home court advantage. And this is what makes Rhyne Howard's comments so important, because she wasn't just salty about a tough loss. She was defending her team's identity and demanding respect from her own city. And she even called out the South Carolina connection directly in her press conference, as we guys just heard. And this is where her argument becomes impossible to ignore, because she said, "You want to see Gamecocks? We have Gamecocks on our roster. The last game we had MVP chance for one of our players, and she's 100% right. The Dream's own All-Star Alicia Gray is a former Gamecock, and her rookie Tiana Papeo just came from the Gamecocks program. And the fans in Atlanta who came to celebrate a South Carolina hero had heroes from the exact same program on their own team to cheer for. So that's the heart of it. It's not that the fans cheer for Aja; it's that they chose to cheer for her over the players and the home jerseys. But a fan is a fan, right? You can't get emotional, and you can't get emotionally tied to the fan base, let alone emotionally tied to the results. You still have to hold frame, maintain frame, do your job, be phenomenal. And the beautiful part, I think, is when you have a team that's trying to build its way up to have an identity, then you can also build and grow with that team from scratch. What will make you be more phenomenal, because you'll be known from building something out of the mud, right? As they're creating more teams in the WNBA, and it'll be more special because not only will you be a pioneer of a building team, but you'll also be a phenomenal pioneer that'll go down within your own legacy, ingrained within that franchise legacy. So I think Rhyne Howard just need to get out her feelings and play harder. And if you want MVP chance or anybody else on your team, then it will weed out amongst y'all who really want it bad enough to be the face of that franchise. If you really want to be the star, and if you really want to be the best of the best and be the GOAT when it comes to this Atlanta Dream franchise. So when you look at it, Howard's message when it comes to pick a side, and she said, "Don't get here and switch up because of one player. It's easy to lose momentum when you have other people cheering against you." Well, you shouldn't lose momentum, period. This ain't the first time in the first rodeo, and nobody that plays a sport, no matter what the sport is. But since we talk about basketball, how many times have people made look at the Indiana Fever, right? They booed DeWanna Bonner because she switched up on Indiana Fever and then said she was out for personal reasons, and just skated went back to Phoenix Mercury because she wanted to be with Phoenix Mercury, but she made it like she really wanted to be a veteran star to the Indiana Fever and be the pioneer when it comes to giving advice and leading these individuals with her experience, this young team of Indiana Fever. So they booed DeWanna Bonner, but then the next game they booed Sophia Cunningham for saying on her podcast, DeWanna Bonner could have done it more professional and sent the team a text that she was leaving. That's all, nothing personal. So you can't be worrying about that. You should be holding your game and doing your thing for what you're there for and doing your job. So it's a raw, unfiltered truth of being an athlete in that moment, you can say, but and it may feel like a betrayal, but she is practically begging her city to invest in her team through good and bad, and not just to show up to see a visiting superstar, but you got to give them the reason worth investing in your team and worth, you know, going through the good and the bad with you. But this whining right here is not the foundation. I don't think any hardcore fan being loyal to a franchise and having a loyal fan base and being part of a loyal fan base for your team want to be part of a star that's begging for them to be a fan, and you sitting there complaining, worrying about being emotional, because the good and the bad comes with everything. People going to talk regardless. They're going to pull your string regardless. So you could say it was a challenge to the city of Atlanta, but I challenge, and I take it a step further and challenge Rhyne Howard or whoever else felt on Atlanta Dream that way, because she probably wasn't just speaking for herself. But this brings up a huge question for every fan of this league. What's your job as a fan? Is it to follow your favorite player no matter what the jersey they're wearing, or is it to back the team that represents your city? Let me know what you think down in the comments. I really want to know where people stand on this because it's a central issue in the modern WNBA. And while you're down here, if you're enjoying this breakdown, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and make sure you get this video a big thumbs up. So this whole situation in Atlanta isn't a one-off thing. It's a point. It points to a bigger conversation in WNBA fan culture because on one hand, the league is marketed, and rightfully so, as a star-driven league. And we celebrate the individual's greatness of players like Aja Wilson, Kaylin Clark, and Napheesa Collier. But that's what brings new fans in because people often latch onto a player first and a team second. So there's nothing wrong with that. It's just how sports work. And she needs to understand the business instead of begging and complaining, and understand from a business perspective and get her feelings out of it, because the logic is coming out of her is once she get in her feelings like she's doing, begging for her city to support her, the logic already went out the window. Because I just told you that when it comes to fans, we latch onto a player first and a team second. So for a team like the Atlanta Dream, a franchise trying to build something special, that's a huge obstacle. And they're fighting to carve out their own identity in a crowded Atlanta sports market. And they play in a smaller arena, which makes these shifts in fan loyalty way more intense. When a huge chunk of your crowd is cheering for the other team, and it actively poisons the well while you're trying to build a real fan base. But here's the debate we're left with: player loyalty versus team loyalty. Are you a bad fan if you buy a ticket to a home game but wear the jersey of the Vision and Star? Does it matter if you cheer for both? Rhyne Howard is telling you that the players on the court, it absolutely matters. That for the players on the court, it absolutely matters. And it tells them who the crowd really values. And when your team is in a close game, that could decide playoff seeding. Hearing your own fans cheering against you is, I guess you could say, brutal, but at the end of the day, I'm gonna go to a game where even if I'm in my own city and it's the opposite team, the opposing team is the team that I really rock with, I'm gonna still go to that game and rock the team I rock with jersey. Who is you to tell the consumers, let alone the customers and the fan base, who to rock with? Give them a reason worth rocking with you and resonating with you as a person, Rhyne Howard. But right now, you begging and complaining and whining is not marketable. So beyond all the fan drama, this game poured gasoline all over the 2025 WNBA MVP race. And for a lot of the season, it felt like the award was Napheesa Collier's to lose, and she's been a monster for the Minnesota Lynx and the team with the league's best record. But Collier recently missed some time with an ankle injury, and that cracked the door open for everyone else. Enters Aja Wilson. And while the Aces had a bit of a shaky start to the season, they have been on an absolute tear, and Wilson has been playing like a woman possessed. And this dominant performance against Atlanta on the road, capped off by MVP chants from the other team's fans, is the kind of legendary moment that sways voters. And it's not just about the stats anymore; it's about the story. And Aja is right there, neck and neck with Collier, and you could argue she has all the momentum on her side. And let's not forget about Alyssa Thomas of the Connecticut Sun, who is putting up nearly triple-double numbers and always a threat to snag the award. But this game in Atlanta was a statement from Aja. It was a declaration that she is coming for her third MVP, which would tie the WNBA record. And the fact that the fact that she earned MVP chance on the road at the expense of her opponent's morale only makes her case that much stronger. We might look back on this game as the moment the entire MVP race was thrown into beautiful, wonderful chaos. So at the end of the day, what did this one wild night of basketball give us? We have a star player in Rhyne Howard who had the guts to call out her own fans and demand more for a team that is finally on the rise. And we have a complicated emotional debate about what it even means to be a fan in a league full of superstars. And towering over it all, we have Aja Wilson, a player so good, so transcendent that she can walk into an opponent's arena and have them chanting her name by the end of it. And her performance didn't just help the red hot Las Vegas Aces win a tough road game. It may have completely upended the race for the league's highest individual honor. And this single game was a perfect snapshot of everything that makes the WNBA so compelling. Elite competition, raw emotion, and a storyline that changes every single night. But it all comes back to that sound, those chants in the stunned home arena. So I gotta ask you, if you were an Atlanta Dream fan in that building watching your team's lead slip away, what would you have done? Would you have joined in for a living legend, or would you have stayed silent for your home team? Let me know your honest answer in the comments below, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you in the next one. Peace.